Hello and welcome to IDCom's Media Snack, episode 57, which is our Christmas edition. Coming up, we're going to look at some exceptional work that shows media can be a power for good. Hello and welcome to IDCom's Media Snack, episode 57. So this is our Christmas edition. We've decided to dedicate this episode to look at something quite interesting. As you'll know, if you've followed Media Snack this year and you've read a lot in the trade press and heard all the noise, it's been a really challenging year for the media industry globally. So we're dedicating this episode to look at some amazing work which really shows how media can be a power for good and should give us hope and aspiration to do great stuff next year. All coming up in Media Snack in just the time it takes to eat a turkey sandwich. So today I'm joined by Steph White, who's IDCom's Head of Operations, and we're talking about an amazing organisation called the Population Media Centre.
Yeah, so PMC are an organisation, a charitable organisation based over in the east coast of the US. And they're looking to use mass media and communications as a way to really affect long-term behavioural change.
Yeah, and the work that they do, I mean, it's fascinating ambition, because what they're doing is linking the rights of women and girls with the impact of managing population growth, and then the impact that that has on the wider environment. So it's an amazing mission, and I came across this organisation over 10 years ago when I was living in New York, and I met this fantastic guy called Bill Ryerson, who's the founder of PMC, Population Media Centre. And Bill also sits as chair of the Population Institute in Washington. He frequently, he's all around the world, presenting to governments and the UN and places like that about population management. And he founded PMC. And when he came to see me in New York and shared with me some amazing stories about the work that they were doing to build new rights for women and girls in terms of birth control or family planning, and then mitigate, hopefully, impact on population growth and environment. And I met Bill, and I vowed that one day, if I couldn't kind of support him then, but that one day we might be in a position to offer some kind of support to the fabulous work that Bill and his team do. Fast forward 10 years.
We were having a conversation in this very room about the fact that we wanted to, bring another dimension to the business and to really get behind a corporate social responsibility program. And we're tossing around ideas about, what sort of partner would best suit us, given the media focus. And you came up with PMC, didn't you?
Well, I just happened to mention to you that I'd met Bill this 10 years ago, and then coincidentally, this is a rather long story, but it's worth it, hopefully, in the end. That same week, Bill emailed me to say that he was in the UK because he'd been invited to Buckingham Palace, and would we like to meet up? So the timing was perfect. We were ready to really find a CSR partner and an organisation to support at the time when Bill reached out. And then we moved very quickly, and we've set up a full kind of support program. So let's talk about some of the amazing work that Population Media Centre do. What Bill realised was that serial drama on radio and TV would be a really effective way to engineer the challenging of kind of cultural norms and changing people's behaviour. And also, if you think about in developing countries, one of the best ways to reach the rural poor, which is where these issues around family planning and domestic violence and disease control, where those things mostly exist or where the biggest challenges are, radio has phenomenal reach to try and change that behaviour over time. And so that's the organisation creates these radio and TV dramas. So how do these work then?
So what we have is a hub based in the US, and they have local teams which are all focused around developing the ideas for what the radio and the TV drama should be. So they employ local people, local screenwriters, local production to focus on the most important issues that PMC want to focus on, and talking with the heads of government within those countries. I mean, we're talking about Nigeria, we're talking about Burundi, we're talking about Ethiopia, we're talking about Kenya, talking about these sorts of countries where there's heavily entrenched concerns about population. And so it's great work that what they do. They put on these radio and TV dramas focusing on those issues in a dramatised sort of way, so it's not in their face, and it's shown across a long period, and it's had some really positive results.
And some of these have been running for years and years, and they are far more effective. I mean, the brilliant thing, I think, one of the many brilliant things that PMC do, is that they measure the effectiveness of these things. I mean, this is not just a kind of a nice charitable pitch. Marketers can learn a ton, I think, from the work that PMC do, because they've created some of the most effective media campaigns I think ever created of any brand ever in the world, because of the simple impact that their work does. And they measure pre and post. They work closely with governments to understand, levels of family planning, levels of domestic violence, levels of disease testing. They run these dramas for a year or two, and the impact that they have is just phenomenal in changing behaviours in many of the most challenged countries in terms of communicating public service messaging, because, as you say, these things are so entrenched. They're kind of cultural, big kind of cultural beliefs that are challenged. And this work happens around the world. It's not just in African countries.
Yeah, so they've got shows in India, they've got shows in northern South America, in Central America, and a really popular series, actually, East Los High in US, which is being broadcast on Hulu as well.
Which tells you that this is entertainment content. Hulu have commissioned a second series of this, and this is TV drama. And that's changing behaviour and attitudes within the Latino community in the US as well. So PMC's work is kind of spreading around the globe, and we're delighted to be supporting them as our kind of primary CSR partner. So just explain a little bit of the work quickly that we do then, that we're going to do with Population Media Centre.
So what we've done is we have created 3 dependent work streams with them. The first one that focuses on marketing, because obviously they do a lot of good work, and we want everyone to be able to understand what they do and to know what to do when they understand what they do, because they're always looking for sponsors. They're looking for people who can help put these dramas on air. They're looking for people to help with training in local markets and local countries. So it's a really important one that's very dear to our hearts, being in media, obviously, which David and I actually work on very closely with Missy, who is the Marketing Communications Director over at PMC. So that's a really exciting project that we're doing at the moment. And then one that you and Luciana work on, which is looking at touching out to other brands and getting them involved within CSR.
So there are opportunities, of course, because they're creating these new media properties. There are opportunities for brands actually to get involved and participate in the content and supporting the development of the content. So that's another work stream. We're helping PMC understand the right kind of brands that might be interested to support their work in particular countries around the world. So that's very exciting.
And then the third work stream that we have is focused around research and about the actual numbers coming out of the broadcasts from the radio and from the TV. So our team here, Stefan and supported by Bazu with David Walker, have been looking at the reach and what the effect is in terms of how many people it has actually got through viewership.
And that's really important, because that holds, it kind of makes it accountable, which just helps in kind of future funding and fundraising. So we've dedicated 40 hours, I think. Is that right? 40 hours per employee. ID Comms will be dedicated to PMC every year, and we're delighted to be supporting. I'm so glad that we could share that with you. Please check out Population Media Centre. They are truly the organisation doing the best media work in the world, and we're delighted to be a part of that. If you are a viewer of Media Snack or a friend of ID Comms, if you're a brand or an agency or a vendor or anybody else, and you're interested in getting involved in supporting Population Media Centre, do please reach out. We will link also to their donation page, so if you're feeling very much in the festive spirit and we've got you excited, please do give. It's a phenomenal organisation. Okay, that's all for this week, and all that remains is to say wish you Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. That's it. Bye for now.
Bye for now.